All right, all right. I think we got him locked in. He's ready to go. He's fresh
I am
off.
here. I'm in the building. I'm like Brooklyn because I am in a house. Brooklyn
That's what it
house.
is. That's what it is, man. He's
Not that I'm anywhere
fresh.
near Brooklyn.
No, he's fresh off the plane. He's a FOP. He's the damn
Yes,
FOP right now.
FOP.
Yeah.
MEE. Got that medium dick energy all day, every day in three different time zones,
Oh
ready to
yeah.
average bone.
He's swinging. He's swinging them things right now. That's right, boo. We're gonna get right into it. We ain't gonna waste no time. Where's my damn podcast, y'all? Thank you for tuning in. Let's hit the intro music. Uh, I don't really have an intro music, but we're gonna improvise. Where's my damn podcast? Yeah, yeah. Where's my damn podcast? Yeah, yeah. Where's my damn
Go
podcast?
podcast,
Boom.
go
That's
podcast, go. Go podcast. Where
yeah.
did it go? Go, go. Elvin, Elvin's podcast. I think we have to pay the Ninja Turtles to use that, but I'm down.
Right, right. I know they might want royalties. I don't know. Them
Yeah,
turtles,
I
you
think
know how they are.
Master Splinter owns those royalties.
Yes, he does.
Or maybe they
um,
lost those tracks because they ended up in a shredder. Am I right? Shredder.
hey, boom, boom, psh, there you go.
Boom! Ninja Turtles mic drop.
Mic drop. uh, yes, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. I got a very special guest. Very funny and talented comedian. Straight out of the East Oakland, the very deep East Oakland.
Damn right. Walnut Creek, baby, all
The
day,
the,
every day.
the Dove Sea. Yes, yes. How you doing, bud?
Dude, I'm blessed. Yeah, here in the Dub Sea. If you want a creek full of water, I don't want to hear about it. I want walnuts in my creek, no H2O.
Yeah,
Walnuts all day. That's how we do it over here.
yeah. California drought in your mouth, bitch.
All day.
um, yeah, man. You just came from Baltimore, right? You were out there for a family thing, a graduation, I believe, right?
Yeah, my sister, who's the major disappointment of the family,
Of
she,
course, right? Of course, obviously.
yeah, from Johns Hopkins Medical School. I'm like, come on.
Hey, you were
If
dropping
you've ever wanted to know,
medical jokes out there, right? I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
Were
is
you?
there a doctor in the house? They just say that, and then they all actually stand up and say, yeah, do you need some help? But
Heck
it
yeah,
was, it
man.
was a
How
beautiful
was it?
ceremony. Oh, dude, it was great. So, John Hopkins, historically important school, they invented, what's it called? Medicine.
Ah,
They
what was
invented,
he actually there? Was he actually there
what's that?
himself?
No, I think he died years ago.
Oh, what a douche! Yeah, he couldn't
Yeah,
attend
what
his
a
own
douche.
school.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gave Michael Jackson all of the drugs. Conrad Murray was just the
Oh,
fall guy.
right, right.
Killed Michael
It,
Jackson. You heard it here
yeah,
first. Oh,
there you go. Yes, that's it. That's it.
it was like a hymen and a virgin. We're taking that news, we're breaking
Yeah.
it. We're saying this first time news, you're gonna love it, and then we leave
Right.
news disappointed.
Heck yeah, man. Man, how you feeling? You a little bit jet lag? You feeling good? You how's the energy?
I'm feeling blessed. In fact, I wore a sweatshirt that I got from the San Jose.
Mm-hmm.
I had that comedian swag walking through an airport. And if you're wearing a
Oh,
shirt that says the word,
snaps.
I learned you're inviting old white ladies to ask you if you know who Wayne Brady is
Ah, there.
at two different airports. I literally had people come up to me and ask about whose line is it anyways. I'm like, no, it's the improv, not the act of improv.
Right, right.
But I'm a sucker for attention. So I said, yeah, I know Wayne Brady. We're besties. We went to school together. We didn't, but
Yeah.
it's a fun thing to do.
Right. Right. We're comedians, yes.
We don't like to lie. Like when an officer pulls us over and asks if we're drunk, and then we throw Guinness on their shoes. We lie. Yes.
Yes, we're great bullshitters.
Hey, that
um,
was our college major.
yeah, yeah, man. We're gonna. we're gonna dive into your background a little bit. Uh, make sure the breathalyzer is good. You're good to go. But yeah, how you got started in comedy, obviously. But we'll just kick around and just talk about whatever, man, whatever's out there.
Dude, I'm all about bringing in AK-47 to a porta potty. Let's just shoot the shit, man.
Yes,
Let's just
sir. Yes, sir. Oh man, the fans are excited, bro. Like they've been waiting for this. It's the studio audience. It's a full crowd right now, brother. They're like just waiting at the bits. Like
the
when they heard
applause sign
when they
is
heard
on.
when they heard I got Charlie Spinks on the line. They went nuts. It was like, oh wait, Charlie.
What?
Yeah, there, Charlie Spinks. Like, um, yeah,
Yeah,
man. So, yeah, so break it down for us. Well, let me set it real quick. Cause I met you about a couple of years ago. Over that time we've done some shows and some open mics and
I think we met
man,
at Tommy T's in Pleasanton for the first time, if I'm not mistaken.
yes, great memory right there. Yes, yes. Charlie's also has an elephant of a memory. Yes, we have that connection.
Yes, every time I see an elephant, I remember it.
How
Great
could you not
memory when it
miss?
comes to Jews and Republicans. I always recognize I'm no good Republican. That's just silly.
Yeah, man. It's all about the junk in the trunk. Yeah.
Yeah, when a lot of fun. That's the only way to clear out that junk. Clear that junk out of the trunk. And
Yeah.
oh man, if you're an elephant with a cocaine habit, that's expensive. Can you imagine? Oh my goodness.
It'll
You
go
would
a
need a
long ways.
foul line worth of coke just to get high. That would just be all
You
bad.
know what? I bet it'll go a long ways though, for sure.
Yeah.
They
They
got
lose
the
some
long
brain
nose
cells.
for it.
Some of them are already pretty Dumbo, so they don't. But yeah, I think we met at a local showcase at Tommy T's, I want to say 2 to 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's somewhere around there, right around there. Yeah, and man, you're funny. I enjoy your comedy, and like I said, we've done over time. We've done a few showcases around the Bay Area, Central Valley, Sacramento. We actually did a show recently at Barbecues and Burger, right? Yeah, that was the last.
Barbecue and burger and diabetes is the best place to go in Sacramento. That great 1-2 punch.
Hey man, if you want them barbecue jokes, we got it. We got it.
If you like them well done, we're there for you. Am I right?
Yeah.
Hot off the grill with these jokes. That's how I like them prepared. I put
Yes, sir.
on my punchlines. That's how I roll.
Yes, sir.
Actually, a
So
fun story. I don't know if you remember this. So you and
mhm.
I did a comedy competition a little over a year ago in Oakland. I want to say
Oh
it was
yeah, yeah,
at Lakeside. And I'm sure
yeah.
you guys know you're blind. You are as well as most people with eyeballs.
Oh
And
man, that's
breaking news. I didn't even. You and I were doing a comedy competition where there was a handwritten vote, and so all voted for ourselves. I would think,
yes,
as far as 30 audience members. So
yes.
everybody voted. You asked me to write your name in there, and I
Hell
wrote.
yeah, brother.
Yeah, no, you got to vote for yourself. I wrote your name, and then I myself also, because I felt like it was, I wouldn't say bad form. I'm just superstitious. Like, don't vote for yourself. And when they counted the votes, Elvin beat me by 2 votes. But my name instead of your name twice.
Wow. Look at man, he's not only a stand-up comedian, but a stand-up gentleman.
Yes.
Yeah, you could have rigged it, bro. You could have rigged it.
Honestly,
You could have rigged it.
Yeah. If you're honest, then you will lose $150 to a blind guy. That's the moral, kids.
Yes, that's what it is, man. Man, honest
But that
Abe
was a
right
great night
here.
of
I mean,
comedy.
yes, it was. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Um, but yeah, man. Man, we had we done a bunch of shows together. I've always find you funny. You got some great stuff there. So yeah, let's get into it. How long have you been doing comedy? Break it down for the studio audience, Charlie Spinks.
Well, I think that the first time I performed any sort of comedy, boom, and I just looked right back and said, "Dad, I'm there. That's a stretch," and I popped right out. That was probably my first joke. No, the first time I performed stand up on stage, I was 12 years old at John Muir Elementary School in Antioch, California, and I
Oh,
chose as my
that was big time back then, right? A lot
that
of
was well, I
people
was
would
the only
headline them.
person. I was the only person doing comedy. Other than that, I was the only person not singing a Whitney Houston song. The the talent show in Antioch that year was five girls all singing "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston,
Wow,
and
how not original right there.
yeah, I mean, some of them could go like, "Hey, I want to dance with somebody." They
Oh,
could
okay,
just
yeah, yeah.
all of those girls, and you know what? They were freaking. Can I curse on the podcast?
No, you shoot away, man.
Man, those girls are
Go
fucking liars. None of them love me anymore, and all of them were sitting there singing as fifth and sixth graders that they always love me, and none of them do. But yeah, I went up and I did 5 minutes of stand up for a hard approximately 2 minutes of that stand up. But those encouraged me to kind of keep at it. The best review I got coming off stage was
Hey, I
the vice principal, and I was a 12-year-old in the late 90s. And
yeah.
I told her and said, "The young Ellen DeGeneres,"
Wow.
which at the time, the only thing I knew about Ellen is she just publicly came out, right? It was a big deal that she was openly
Mhm.
lesbian. And I realized, oh, well, her and I do have the same haircut, and we're both discovering pussy at the same time. So I get the comparison. I've been a young Ellen DeGeneres,
Or
and
else
I think it
he
was
would. No, go ahead, go ahead.
maybe life imitated art because I didn't really dance a whole lot in my act back then. Now, well, it's not something you see, but on stage, kind of between punchlines, I have a
Yeah.
repertoire of Michael Jackson moves. I like to think that I have moves of a young Michael Jackson and the diet and health regiment of an older Elvis Presley. Just two kings for the
There you
price of
go.
one. That's what you get with the Charlie Spinks. It's treatment.
Hey,
And I
rock
have
and
the
pop,
grunts,
king of you're a rock, you're original rock and pop right there.
pop and rock, pop rock. I'll make you sick. But yeah, it all started then, and then I went off to high stand-up comedy at a homeless shelter in San Francisco, where at private, very big. We used to volunteer sophomore year at a homeless shelter, St. Anthony's in San Francisco. Tell jokes on their stage, which was primarily used for bingo, and I would tell jokes to homeless people. And paid gig, I did that a couple times for free. 15 years old, my first paid comedy gig was telling jokes to homeless
Hmm,
people, which it's fun. It feels
nice.
very fulfilling, and at the same time, you know you can't get heckled too badly
Okay. Did they
because
tip
were
you
they
though?
gonna tell me, were they gonna tell me to go home? I'll tell them the same, and then they'll cry. You know, it's really it's really a fun audience to work for because they're very loving and supportive. But I was also kind of a snotty teenage kid, and I really thought it'd be a funny idea to do a bunch of crowd work with the homeless people.
Ah,
I walked off the stage. They had a wireless microphone, which a homeless shelter, few comedy clubs don't always afford those. But we had a wireless mic, and I would go up to everybody in the audience. "Oh, what do you do for a living?" Because I thought, saying that they were home, likely didn't have a 9 to 5 job. A couple decades of comedy was in very poor taste. And if I could turn If I could find a... Probably do that differently.
Yeah. Nice,
And yeah,
nice. Wow.
time went on. I went on to college, column in the newspaper for the younger listeners. I used to print out part of the internet every day. It was a kill trees and pastime. But I wrote a humor newspaper outside the box. And so I was still performing on stage, but I put the majority of my humor column because
okay.
funny, and I could also be lazy enough to not get on stage every night. So I spent college really going on stage 1 to 2 humor columns a week. And yeah, had a great time doing that. I won the Society of Professional Journalists Best College Columnist in Southern California twice. Peaked. I dominated the field. And I've done nothing in journalism since because those column newspapers they don't exist anymore.
Oh man.
Primarily used to line parrot cages.
Yes.
And you want something to catch its turn. Newspaper's the way to go.
Yeah.
So left college, kind of dabbled in Southern California, smaller competitions, and I got to open for some great people. I opened for Bob when I was 19 or 20. R.I.P. Bob Saget. Brilliant comedian. National headliners I've worked with. He was really the only guy to sit down and give and actually critique my set. So I felt that, you know, Danny Tanner, the star from Full House, was able to.
Oh, I'm a big Full House guy. Yes, yes.
Oh, dude, Full House was my shit. And then over the years, Charlie Murphy opened for him. Also, rest in peace. I think I'm the suspect in a lot of comedy murders because most of my really good comedy credits are for people that passed away.
I know. I don't think they found you yet.
They haven't. Well, that's the thing is I go to open mics where we don't get very good crowds because I'm trying to avoid the authorities. I'm trying to avoid law enforcement. They rarely show up at a Tommy T's Wednesday night. But yeah, Ralphie May was another great comic I got to work with a little bit when I was in my early 20s. And yeah, over the years, Eddie Griffin, Tommy Davidson, those guys are still alive.
Yeah.
If they die in the next week or so, this is going to be turned over to them.
I know, right? It's evidence.
Shot. Oh, I also used to open for Tina Turner. I don't know if I told you that.
Hey yo. Oh man. She just died.
She did, and that's how I suspiciously.
Yeah. Man, we're connecting the dots, y'all. This podcast is not going to be released.
What's Charlie got to do with her? What did Charlie do to murder Tina Turner?
Oh, you know what? Ja Rule should have been the murder part right there. Murder.
So I'm going to ask you a question because that Ja Rule inspired me. What do you think is the silliest joke that you look back on and go,
ooh, you know what? I would have to look back, no pun intended, on my notes. You know what? I try to avoid it because, man, they were all like, what the heck? What the heck is this shit? You know, like this is horrible. Maybe there is a reason why. Yeah.
It's like Jerry Seinfeld says, comedy is like baseball. You know, if you fail 70%, you're a 300 hitter, which means you're amazing. You're going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And it's like that with joke writing. You know?
Yeah.
25 to 30% of what we write is up. Then we'll make a living.
Right.
Great.
Yeah.
But you mentioned John. I loved that never really took off. As you know, in my act, I do a lot of really short impressions.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not focused on accuracy. They're more just trying to be. Jokes was an impression of Ja Rule.
Oh.
And in the early 2000s, I was just Ja Rule doing comedy. People ask me, "Hey, yo, how much does a holla cost? Holla, how much it cost? It costs 25 million dead Jews. It was murder."
Oh man, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's one of
I
those
like
that
that.
I love that. I have a in my heart for both Ja Rule and Murder Inc.
Yeah.
But also for that joke, which never really took off. It was like a plane that got delayed indefinitely. But I personally, I love that joke, and it's one of the first joke. You know what? The audience didn't like this, but I loved it. Do you remember the first
Yeah,
joke
yeah.
you told on stage? I think we've discussed this a little bit in person, but what was your first time like on stage? Because I know that you probably had a very different dynamic than I did. So
Yeah, yeah.
first time, rocked a microphone, set the scene. What was going down?
Man, the first one I did was cuz I got started in 2018, like September 12th. And it
Ooh.
was a mix mic. So you had music, poetry, and comedy. Supposedly
Mm-hmm.
comedy. But I like the first four times I
Comedy
went
and
up,
insult.
I didn't see any comedians. You know, unless they were intimidated by me back then, but I doubt it.
They were
But
hiding, which considering eyesight is not necessary.
right, yeah.
They
No,
don't have to work so hard.
I think I had some jokes about uh like off of my head was people with two names, like you know how ridiculous they were, and I don't even see this is how bad it was because I don't even remember the punchline to it, but but yeah, just people with two names, and it's like you know like so you get as a kid if you had two names, what you get beaten twice or something, like I don't know. It
It's the
was,
ratio, one beating per name. That's pretty solid.
yeah, well, yeah, you know, but that's the one I can kind of remember off my head. But yeah,
Well, it's interesting when you think about that because I know my first joke I ever told on stage was about my name, and so maybe that's psychologically a way that we introduce ourselves to a crowd in general. We want to write a joke about our name because we want name record. I know the first
yeah.
joke I ever told on stage at the talent show. I was 12 years old. It was so obviously I want to talk about something topical, and I chose the war in Vietnam.
Yeah,
Everybody else would have mentioned, Power Rangers or Pokemon or Pogs.
right.
Not me. I went up there and with, hey everybody, my name is Charlie. Just got back from fighting that war. Not easy when you're named Charlie. Friendly fire my ass. Those bullets hurt. And I didn't realize that in the late 90s, there weren't a whole lot of 11 and 12-year-old kids that knew that Charlie is what they called the Viet Cong and that they were the enemy. And I was making this word play on my name.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
just yawned. And I got some laughs out of it. I think my first laugh I ever got, people noticing I was embarrassed by the joke not working. But the
Mm.
aforementioned vice principal of the school, he laughed really hard at that joke because he was probably the only person in that room who was going on.
That's what I was just about to say too. He probably was in the Vietnam War.
He was, or he maybe dodged. He was
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Dodger. I
yeah.
can't promote dodging. I'm a San Francisco. Dodgers suck. So
Hashtag no, no.
I'm mad. I'm mad because I'm a Giants fan and Dodgers suck. That's just
Yeah.
the way it is.
Wow, man.
So what's been your experience? One show, one performance. If you had one shot, one opportunity to
I
describe your
know.
best night on stage.
Knees
Now,
weaks.
tell
Yeah. Knees weak, arm is heavy. um you know what? I would have to say it was pretty recent. I did a I opened up for Rex Navarrete last summer and did
oh,
25
very funny
minutes.
guy. Yeah, I've met him on a
Yeah.
number of occasions.
Yeah. I would say
I actually thought he
that
was a
one's right
dinosaur
up
when I
there.
first met him. Not just because he's old, but he's an old guy. But no, it stands for something else.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that one. At the moment, I'm pretty sure there's a couple in there, but yeah, I would say that one. Just because I was able to do maybe at least 25 minutes. So yeah.
Is that the longest you've ever done on stage? 25 minutes?
Yeah. At that time, recently I ended up about over a month ago. I ended up doing 40 minutes. I ended up headlining for the first time in
That's
town in
headliner stuff.
Stockton.
Good stuff,
Yeah,
man.
buddy. Yeah, buddy. Just working my way, you know. Yeah.
Well, I have the
But
advantage of when I do a longer, usually hide a cue card somewhere. So it's not considered very professional to go up there with notes when they're paying you to do comedy. But I usually have two cue cards that I place strategically where nobody can see them except for me. But for
right.
you, I don't feel like that would work as well.
No, no, no. Obviously, no.
You could just set up a braille set list on the stage and just start rubbing it in a very platonic, non-sexual way when you forget a joke.
I know, right? The crowd's gonna be looking at it like, what the heck is he doing?
Is this redwood? Is this pine? This is a really nice stage.
Yeah. Or a crystal ball with the braille notes on
I could work too.
it.
Yeah, be
Yeah.
careful, man. Some people, when it comes to braille jokes, they just don't feel them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boom. Yeah, don't
But
don't turn a blind eye to good braille jokes. That's what I always say.
heck yeah. Heck yeah. Heck no. Um, but no ob- obviously no cue cards. I it's all memory. And if anything, I'll either that day of or the couple days leading up to it, I'll write it in my phone. My set list, like as far as what I'm gonna do. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
So then, when you're doing prep, do you dictate verbatim the way that you want a joke to work, or do you kind of write it in the moment when you're doing open mics? Because I know so many people have different strategies for how we sculpt and we this comedy
Yeah,
sculpture that we present to masses.
yeah.
I overwrite everything. So I was a creative writing major in college. Dropped long story. But I've been writing jokes since I was 9 or 10, and so I'm just very meticulous with overwriting every punchline
Yeah,
in my journals in 3 different colors. Every page,
yeah.
I have a black ink pen, a red ink, and the red
You
ink is
don't
usually indicating punchlines, indicates physical movement, or any sort of act out.
you don't
There are
discriminate
comedians who have this
colors.
great. I don't. I mix them together. I'm against segregation now.
Yeah, yeah.
Now that I'm
No,
on the right side of
that's
history.
awesome. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I can kind of tell with that you're yeah really like a great writer, really into writing, because your jokes are really well crafted. Uh, Not a cheese joke, but yeah, really
Craft.
really not yeah, scrap single.
Because it's
But yeah,
processed.
it's all about the
And
process.
my jokes own the New England Patriots. Isn't that the Kraft family? They with them, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's very well written, well crafted, and well rehearsed and all of that. Like for me, like I'm I go by feel because I already know like what I'm gonna talk about, but when I go get ready to go on stage, I do it by feel and just the flow and the rhythm and all that. So yeah.
Well, you have such an interesting journey to do crowd work. So myself a great crowd work material. I'm very
Yeah,
into
you're
but
very
crowd work,
monogamous.
yeah, parts of joke writing. But as a comedian who can see the crowd, I can get a feel for if something isn't working or the room that's really building upon that laughter in a particular moment. And
Yes.
I don't know if you just have that sense elevated, if you have an elevated sense up, but
Yeah.
I can sit there and
Yeah.
say, man, that guy's shirt looks crazy. And you have to actually go up there and feel the guy and go, oh, your shirt feels crazy. And that just
Or
becomes,
I'm gonna get canceled.
Sexual assault at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Get canceled or sexual assault. Yeah, one of the two. No, it's a good point. I actually made a recent post on FB about crowd work, and recently, in the last couple of years, I've gotten really comfortable with crowd work because like at first I didn't really know how to approach it. Obviously, because me not being able to see the audience, so I had to find ways, ask other comedians, or just listen to other comedians how they do it, or ask, what's their take on it, and I just kind of gathered it all up and kind of just did my own, and one of the key things as for me, as far as like, yeah, one of the important key things is like prior to the show, whoever's with me, either a comedian or like sometimes my wife will be out there with me as well, or a friend. I'll ask them like, what's the crowd looking like? What's kind of the vibe, the demographic, um, all that good stuff.
Well, and that's the great thing, because you've trusted me to be one of those friends that we've done shows together. And you've personally asked me what the crowd was like. And I've lied to you every single time. Just because I want to see how you'll do. I'll be like, dude,
Yeah.
there is a table full of 75-year-old Saudi Arabian women who are here for a bachelorette party. They've been drinking heavily. I mean, their burqas are slowly coming off, man. I think if you play your cards right,
Yeah.
them crack up. They're going to get drunk, and then tomorrow they're going to get stoned. And it's going to have nothing to do with marijuana. They'll be
Yeah.
stoned to death by their husbands. Yeah, I'll really exaggerate when you
Yeah.
ask me what a crowd is like.
Right. They're gonna be stoned by my jokes.
Exactly. Jokes are going to rock them, but I feel
Yeah.
like my influences. Rock was somebody who I got really into when I was a teenager and started really formulating. And what I love about Chris Rock is that Chris Rock that don't just have punchlines. He writes jokes that have choruses. He will hit repetition in a joke. He's just writing songs without repetition, but he's putting together a thought with a thesis over and over again. And he finds a way to make you forget that he's trying to teach you a lesson. He's teaching you a social lesson, whether it's about racism, sexism, quality. He has this of mixing medicine to where you don't taste it. And
Nice.
for really getting into the joke writing that like that. And also I wanted to be a songwriter. I think when I was 9 and 10 years old, songs I loved writing jokes. But the older I got, I realized. So that just made me realize, you know what? I'll stick to joke writing with light karaoke. That's the way to do it.
Hey, karaoke is not bad. It's fun.
But Chris Rock is the only one of my major early influences. Not be a terrible person, because I would say Woody Allen and Bill Cosby were also two of my very favorite comics. The first comedy albums I ever bought were Woody Allen and Bill Cosby, and they both ended up being really shitty people. not great guys, Bill, I don't know if you heard the news, but they took away his bartending license. He's no longer allowed to mix drinks. And they shut down Woody Allen's babysitting business. He's no longer allowed to provide for any.
Now that's no, that's pretty cool. That's cool how you are able to break down his style of writing. Man, I didn't even know that. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, that Jerry Seinfeld was another guy who I remember being a teenager. The show Seinfeld was funny, but I liked the show. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
watching Jerry's special. It was called "I'm Telling This for the Last Time." It was an HBO special where he was retiring. He'd been telling from the late 70s through the 80s and 90s. So it was a retirement party for jokes. And to see how beautifully he was able to put and in the world. Like my dick! High five. No, I'm life. You know, the toothpaste or why a certain theme song for a cartoon sticks with. Just find little aspects of society make a molehill with every joke. He would find a way to put so much meat on of every topic he tackled. And through doing really interesting comedy persona, where Jerry Seinfeld is somebody that, you know, he's watched his show, we've listened to his stand-up, and he's not about. You know, he's the guy who can tell us so much about life and society and what we have in common about Jerry the person. We know about cereal, but we don't know any of his stances on politics. And that's just a sign of a great writer. This is a guy who is such an amazing jokesmith. They tell you, write what you know and that you should share on stage. But Jerry shows us that if you're good enough at construct, you don't have to tell people anything about yourself. Just is a true master of the craft and somebody who I will look up to time.
No, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Tell what you know, and you know the rest could be a mystery, if you want it to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Mitch Hedberg. I don't know if you're familiar with Mitch, but Mitch.
Oh yeah, I love Mitch. Yeah.
Rest in peace. So true story. I had tickets to see Mitch Hedberg. I did not kill him. No, he died before I went on my comedy killing spree.
Yeah.
You know, that should be the name of my next album, the Charlie Spinks Comedy Killing Spree. It's just me talking about all the comedians that have died since I've opened for them. But,
there you
go. Fun fact, Mitch Hedberg, great comedian, died on April Fool's Day. He died on April 1st.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it was before. I remember because I was in college. It was either freshman or sophomore year. Right. But I had tickets to go see him. I went to school in Riverside, UC Riverside. It's a school in Southern California for people that aren't smart enough to get into UCLA. That's our motto. And I had tickets to see him at the Ontario, California Improv.
Yeah.
It's not Ontario, Canada. It's Ontario, California.
Yeah.
Very, very nice comedy club attached to a strip mall. But I had tickets to see him 2 weeks after he died. And he didn't show up, probably because of the death. But that's my biggest regrets is I don't have my tickets anymore. Because as somebody who's a huge Mitch fan, it should have stuck in my mind that I should frame those and put them up on my wall.
Yeah.
You can't see it because we don't have a visual component, but I have a Brady Bunch style grid of 9 comedians who rest behind me.
Right.
And those are paintings that a friend of mine, Jessie Ingenue Smith, she's a Portland comedian. Excuse me, Jessie Anjuli Smith, mispronounced the middle name. But she put together these really great portraits of comedians, and I hang them behind me while I'm watching my back. I have Mitch Hedberg, Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy, Jerry, Stephen Wright, Charlie Chaplin, and Richard Pryor. Always looking over my shoulder when I'm riding at home. And in the middle of that grid is a painting of myself, Charlie Spink. Not because I'm a narcissistic asshole. That's beyond the point.
Right.
In the other paintings, my friend Jessie, she posted this painting she made of Stephen Wright, who is kind of like the grandfather of Mitch Hedberg style. Stephen Wright, brilliant one-liner comic from Boston.
One-liner.
He had his special, I Have a Pony. It was one of the best comedy albums of the 80s. I still listen to it.
Yeah.
And I saw her post this really kind of abstract but beautiful painting of Stephen Wright.
Yeah.
face, but there's geometric shapes that are kind of going in and out of the frame. And to me, that spoke on almost the mathematics that are involved in putting together a good joke. And
Right.
professor of joke writing. And I saw
Yeah.
that and I sent her a message and I said, I want to buy that and I want to pay you to do all these other comedian portraits. I need these
Oh,
in my
okay.
life.
Yeah.
Inspire art. And then after I paid for 8 of them, I'll rent for 2 months.
Yeah.
Myself for my birthday.
Yeah.
And into my house and they see I have a big old painting of myself. They negatively with me, but I know that you would never do that because you can't see it. You wouldn't be able to judge it. I would just tell you that, hey, no, in the middle, that's Bob Hope. That's not me.
Right.
For comic, it's George Burns, just anybody other than me.
Or it could have been a big time orgy. I don't know. Like.
It's a whole bunch of comedians off the other comedy powers.
Yeah.
That,
Voltron right there. Voltron. I don't know if you're familiar with Voltron, but yeah.
I'm not as familiar, but I just know that a comedy orgy, I think, would be a lot of guys junk going, is this thing on?
Yeah. Like Charlie,
then,
look
right
at it, Charlie.
That's a callback. Love a good act out. But do you have one comedy album? Do you have one that really sticks with you and makes you strive to be a better comedian? Is there one that just kind of stands out in your mind?
You know what? Good question. I don't think I really have a necessarily a favorite. Although Eddie Murphy, I would say if I had to put one up there, is that one, and then everything else is kind of like okay, these are pretty good. This is funny. But I as far as picking one, no, I would say I kind of just you know h- hold them in high regard in its own way, I guess.
I absolutely love both, especially
Yeah,
and Delirious. And are
yeah,
you a pop fan?
yeah.
You are. So yeah, the comparison I always make with Eddie is, to me, Eddie is the Jay-Z of hip hop. Is
Mm,
so many people look at what Eddie did with Delirious, which was his first album or his first
yeah,
HBO special, the one where he's in the red suit, and
yeah,
they think,
yeah,
oh, this is the best special I've ever seen. This is an amazing special. The way that people look at Jay-Z's first album, Reasonable Doubt,
yeah.
a commercial success, but it was just artistically spot on. The production was great. It was tight.
Yeah,
His wordplay was fantastic. You know, he was really
yeah,
creating this articulate gangster rap music that people hadn't heard yet.
yeah.
But to
Classic.
me,
Yeah.
Eddie's second special, Raw, was significantly better. The one where he's in the
Oh,
purple suit.
okay,
And I realize me describing the
okay,
colors doesn't help you out at all being blind. But
okay.
I've noticed that when it comes to an urban audience, I do a lot of shows in Oakland. So lots of times I'm one of the few white people in the room.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that urban specials, Delirious and Raw, they call them Eddie in the red suit and Eddie in the purple suit because it's a
Yeah.
fashion thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But I consider Raw to be Eddie Murphy's blueprint. Put out the album. While it wasn't his first, it was his best. He had taken the years of experience in both the rap game and in drug dealing and
Yeah.
combined it beautifully to create the quintessential hip hop album of the
Yeah.
early 2000s. Fun
Right.
fact, the blueprint from Jay-Z was released on September 11th, 2001.
Yeah.
It's released on the day of the terror attacks. So I was in high school and I was really wanting to buy the new Jay-Z album. And Laden came along and ruined that for me. They closed down a bunch of stores that day because it was, a national tragedy and nobody really knew what was going on. So
Right.
understandably, most stores were closed.
Yeah.
But I got on my bicycle. I looked through the phone book and called music stores to see if there's anybody still open after school on September 11th. And there was a Blockbuster Video, rest in peace, Blockbuster Video, also dead now. There's a Blockbuster Video about 5 miles away from my house. So I rode 5 miles to buy Jay-Z's Blueprint on September 11th.
Wow, and they even had it.
They had it. So I guess they
Wow.
would carry videos, but also top 10 music. If it was a big album, they would carry it. So
Right.
they were the only store that stayed open on September 11th. I rode my bike down Clayton Road, bought it, rode it back, and maybe it's the greatest hip hop album of all time because of the great production from Timberland and this young unknown producer named. Maybe it's because of Jay's flow, or maybe I just know I pedaled my ass off to get there, and I put that in the equation. Like I had to earn that album.
Yeah.
But to me, Eddie Murphy's Raw was putting together everything beautifully. You know, not only did he have this great written material, which Paul Mooney helped him with.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with Paul Mooney? Are you a fan of Paul?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm familiar with Paul.
So for people who don't know, Paul Mooney played Negro Damas on Chappelle's Show, and he co-wrote specials for both Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor. Yeah. So he is the patron saint. He also created the character Homie the Clown on.
I did.
But I got to meet the staff writer on In Living Color with the Wayans brothers. He created that character and a few other really big characters.
Nice.
But I met in the early 2010s. He used to headline the Black Repertory Theater in Berkeley, and he'd do their New Year's show. He did every year for a few years in a row. And we were having a local show, me and some local comics. I think it was Jay Rich, who's still pretty heavy in the game.
Yes.
It was Jay Rich, Leroy Stanfield Jr., really funny urban Oakland comics.
Yeah.
And we knew that Paul Mooney is going to be performing later on that week. It was either a Friday or Saturday, whenever New Year's fell that year. He was headlining their New Year's Eve show. And we were performing a couple days before New Year's. And Paul was at the show and in the audience. And so I got off stage, and Paul Mooney came up and did a surprise set. And he mentioned me. The first thing he said when he got on stage, on and off stage, he called me the N-word.
It's an honor.
Which I will, for the podcast, I'll change to ninja temporarily. But he walked up there and he said, "Yeah, white ninja think he a ninja." And I thought, man, I have earned street credit for life.
Yeah.
Because Paul Mooney called me, Charlie Spink, the N-word.
Yeah.
Twice. So I can go into any hood and get laughs.
Yeah.
I would think.
Ninja.
But we'll see. I'm still putting that to the test. But yeah, that was talking about kind of really cool comedy accomplishments. That was one of them. And another one, I'm filming a special August 1st at Yoshi's Historic Jazz Club in Oakland.
You know what? Speaking of
it'll be
specials.
the first time.
Speaking
of special.
Yeah. Not the other kind of special, but yeah, this comedy special, yes. Special is this your first one, or have you done other ones? Because I know you said you've been doing it for a while. So
well, that's I've been in the game forever, and I've been called the open mic king, which is like a backhanded compliment in a way. But yeah, I've filmed a couple things myself over the years, and I was never 100% happy with how they turned out. But a third party production company out of Sacramento is helping me put this thing together. They're going to film it with me. Getting the director all lined up at Yoshi's, which is a club. I mean, great to perform there. You know, Carlos Santana, John Mayer, all these people who are, let's face it, not that funny, have been on that stage. I'm hoping to bring some comedy to it.
Nice.
As a matter of fact, you may know Linnell, the comedian.
Yeah. I'm familiar with her.
So Linnell, Oakland legend. She's having her Netflix special produced by Dave Chappelle. And guess where they're filming their special? Yoshi's Jazz Club in Oakland. I'm not saying that they stole it from me, but I'm saying I think I signed the papers about a week before they announced it.
Oh, okay.
So is Dave Chappelle secretly stalking me and stealing my ideas? Probably.
Yes. Allegedly.
But yeah, this will be my first special, and I'm really looking forward to it. Want to get as many people out there as possible. A bunch of comedians, show some comedy love. I know Bay Area native Nina G, the Bay Area's only female stuttering comedian.
Yes.
She, after many years in the game, just released her first comedy special.
Yes, she did.
And
yes.
she released it as an album, and it opened on Amazon in the comedy album category, and also top 5 on iTunes. So
yeah, big.
She's a good
Doing
friend.
well.
I was there for her
Yeah.
filming, and I just hope that the Bay Area can show me the same love that they showed her. I mean, she's a local legend and very talented.
Yeah.
Her and Mean Dave, Pam Benjamin, all these
Yeah.
great local comedy artists in the Bay Area. Love, and I just want to give it back.
There you go. Yeah, the studio audience is very excited right now. I mean, they're just shaking in their boots because
They're having a standing and I'm not talking Asian, just a standing orgasm.
Yeah.
They're just standing up and busting it.
They're squirting all over the place right now. It's madness. It's madness, Charlie Spinks.
If they were a Pokemon, they'd be Squirtle. They're just Squirtling everywhere. Gotta catch them all, immigrants, or however that goes.
Man, that's awesome. That's exciting. Man, I'm very happy for you. That's incredible. So the other two that you recorded, you don't really count them, per se.
Well, there were things where I was self-producing things, and I filmed a 40-minute set some years ago in San Francisco. It was on my birthday. I think it was for my. And I had so many great guests, who is one of my best friends in the world. I love Turkish comedian, brilliant. He's just kind of Andy Kaufman reincarnated. Just
I met him last year. Yeah, good dude.
Such a talented artist, innovative, and he was there on my birthday show, which I tried to film. And so many people had these great guest sets, and at the end, I just didn't feel like mine stood out enough from everybody else's, so I shelved the whole thing. And I have but I'm really looking at this being something that'll be up on Amazon and Amazon Prime by the end of the year. And that can turn on a streaming service and go, that guy does a lot of puns. I get it, whatever, and then turn on something else.
Yeah.
No, but everybody in the production team's been really supportive. But what you may know as a comedian, the way that comedians look at titling their first comedy special is kind of the way little girls look at their wedding dress. They grow up kind of envisioning what they want as their wedding dress, as their wedding day. And I've had so many different comedy album titles, and any of them for this first one. So we're still kind of it's going to shape out, but I know that my column in college was Spinking Outside the Box with Charlie Spink. I really like that as a title, which is very philosophical. But I kind of always saw myself. Well, first I saw myself recording my first special at the Special Olympics, and it would just be called the Very Special Special. I would bring everybody in very short buses. The comedy wouldn't be very good, but the parking would be amazing. It'd be great parking.
I'll throw this one out there. Pun and done.
Pun and done. Well, so the puns is what I'm really known for. And so I like the idea of calling it Welcome to the Pun Show. And the cover is going to be me flexing my biceps, and one will have the word pun written on it, and the other will have a gun. But yeah, the production team wasn't that crazy about that one. I also like the idea of just calling myself professional amateur comedian, because I've been bubbling doing amateur comedy for decades now, and I'll get some momentum, but life gets in the way. I have a very demanding day job in construction, and I have an amazing family. My oldest son starts high school in a few months, and my youngest son is going to be starting 5th grade pretty soon. I've had this amazing life with a supportive wife, and never been able to make comedy the priority until recently. So I'm making that push. But I like the idea of a title of calling my album POC, Professional Amateur Comedian.
Oh,
which
there you go.
Kind of describes my ascent and what I've been doing in the comedy game for so long. It also makes me sound like I'm 50% as thugged out as Tupac. Because he's two Pacs. Mathematically, I would be one Pac.
Yeah.
which means I'm getting there. I'm becoming quite a Machiavelli, if you will.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, it looks like right now the title that they want to go with is Charlie Spink the Pun King. And we have a logo that's the Burger King logo, but the words Pun King instead of Burger King.
Have it your way.
Have it your way. Well, one of my first, maybe the first joke I remember writing about religions had to do with Burger King. I still tell it sometimes, but as a bit of a religious scholar, I can tell you that they opened up the very first fast food restaurant in the Holy Land 30 years ago. They opened a Burger King in Israel. This is a fact. And
That's
their
real.
motto is, that's real. And
That
their motto is,
real.
have it Yahweh.
Yeah.
And that joke is a chosen one. It's been through a lot. I have an entire testament written about that joke. But yeah, the Charlie Spink should be on your streaming services. Fingers crossed before Thanksgiving. So
hey, fingers crossed. No pun intended.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. I like the idea of calling the special puns intended.
Oh, that's a good one.
I find that as a comedian, the most offensive phrase to me isn't anything that's homophobic or transphobic or racist or sexist. When people say no pun intended, that pisses me the fuck off, Elvin. I spend so much of my life writing and cultivating and perfecting these puns.
Yeah.
That when people just say a pun and say, oh, I didn't even intend to do that pun. Bullshit. You did. And you're trying to take credit away from my art form and my craft, cheese and macaroni. And I just don't appreciate that. So that's maybe my second special will be called All Puns Intended.
Yeah.
Got puns for those buns. Girls just want to have puns. Whole lot of pun-based stuff.
Yeah.
But it's all about writing puns and people having fun. That's my life by.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
And so, do you have anything? For you.
No, go ahead.
I mean, I'm excited physically. You can't see it, but I'm very erect right now. I
feel the vibration.
Time to be.
I feel the vibration.
Good vibrations.
Mark Wahlberg, yes, Mark Wahlberg drop right there, and the Funky Bunch.
Marky Mark, what's going on, man? I'm Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, bro.
It's one of the most fun celebrity impressions to
do. No, that's awesome. I'm happy for you, man. That's exciting. I can't wait.
See, I'm gonna put you on the spot. August 1st, Yoshi's Jazz Club in Oakland. If you're not there, I'm gonna come. I'm gonna kidnap you and your wife, and I'm gonna force you to listen to these puns in person. They also have sushi there, which is nice. So come for the comedy, stay for the sushi.
Hey, they might have a pun roll. That's the motto. They might have a pun roll.
That would. I'd roll on over there and eat it. That's what I would do. I'd be on a roll like butter.
Hey, man.
On a roll like a great student.
Yes, sir. Man, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. We'll probably wrap it up in a few minutes here, but so you got that coming up during the summer. What else you got going on in the next month or so, couple months? Anything recent that you got going on?
I'll just drop a shameless plug. My website, www.thecharliespink.com, has all of my upcoming shows. My very sexy webmaster is my wife. She's in charge of most of my digital media, anything that goes on my website. I write the jokes, but she makes sure that the world can see them, and she does an amazing job with it. I'm doing an arts and music festival in Crockett on June 11th. That's on the website. I'm going to be back at Barbecue and Burgers, which we just talked about. Great place for drinks and diabetes. I'm going to be there June 24th, and a bunch of other stuff popping up before then. I'm Vegas, the mini Las Vegas, July 14th or 15th. You can check it out on the website. I don't know if it's been set in stone yet, but Vegas. I love Vegas.
Look at you, man. Look at you. He's all over the place.
That's awesome. I am. I mean, I've really expanded comedy in the Bay Area to doing shitty comedy in like 5 or 6 other major cities on a mildly regular basis. But Vegas is a great comedy scene, man. I definitely recommend getting out
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Everybody talks about LA, New York, Chicago, but Vegas just has a really good amount of talent that's kind of bubbling there. So does
Right.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
I'm biased because my sister lives in Phoenix, and I make excuses. I say I'm going out there to visit her because I love my sister very much, but
Right.
it's like 51-49 that I just want to go do some comedy in a great comedy
Yeah,
scene.
I know, right?
Lots
Tell
of
us.
great talent, lots of positivity, and new clubs opening up over there. The House of Comedy, which just opened up right around the time the pandemic ended.
Yeah.
Stir Crazy, which is another great club. I think that's in Glendale. JP's Comedy Club is one I do every time I'm out there. It's more in the middle of nowhere. I'd have to look up the actual city, but there's a really great comedy scene in the Phoenix area. So
There
if
you
you want
go.
to escape the Bay Area and sweat your ass off, Vegas and Phoenix, go to comedy clubs, and hey, you might see me.
Right. Yeah.
Stalking holes there.
Well, that's right. Check him out. Check him out, y'all. Check out Charlie Spinks. Go hit up his website, his social media, all that good stuff. He's gonna be coming to a city near you. Man, again, the studio audience is loving it. The Charlie fans are going crazy here. Mr. Charlie Spink.
Both of them are, and by that I mean they're just waiting for each other. Like, hey man, what's up?
Yeah,
Dude,
man.
Elvin, it was a pleasure.
Man.
And I just want to
Oh,
say, keep
thank
doing
you.
your thing. You are such a warm, positive, optimistic force in the comedy community. People assume that we're such a happy-go-lucky group of people and that we all root for each other's success. And sadly, there's a lot of backstabbing, a lot of people talking crap behind each other's back. And
Yeah.
you've never heard you say a bad thing about anybody in the comedy scene, whether
Thank you.
it's the
Thank
Bay
you, brother.
Area or out in the Valley or in Sacramento. Never heard anybody say a bad word about you,
Yes.
unless
Thank
there's
you.
some really bigoted blind term that I'm not familiar with.
I know, right? After this podcast, after the show, I'm gonna talk bad about Charlie.
He'll log off.
Yeah.
This
Uh,
motherfucker.
log off. Log off is not Russian either.
Log off. It's
Yeah. Man, it was a pleasure. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for being on the podcast and spending time with me, brother. Man, you're a good dude. You're an inspiration. You're the, one of the genuinest, kindest brother out there that I know, brother.
Thank you, man. Well, I look forward to seeing you around, and I look forward to you not seeing me around, but hearing me. That's what's important.
Yeah, but I get around just like Tupac.
Around,
Regardless,
around.
round
Hey,
we
we both
go.
know that the underground don't stop for hoes. It does not.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, that's my motto always.
Always. West Side. We're familiar with the fact that it's the best side.
Heck yeah, Charlie
Wait, as a
Spink.
blind man, were you taught how to throw up West Side on your hands? How to curve your fingers and then just throw
Oh
up
yeah.
the good.
Oh
Okay, well,
man.
next time I
Yeah.
see you in person, man, we're gonna throw up West Side. We're gonna throw it up like liquor on an empty stomach. We're just gonna
Yeah.
all day just throw up the
Oh yeah.
signal.
Oh man, we're gonna be sea walking all over these hoes, regardless.
Ooh, yes. Some people jaywalk, not us. We go way
Yeah.
further up the alphabet. We sea walk.
Yes. Heck yeah, man.
Just
Uh.
cripping across intersections.
Yep. Uh. Have a good evening, a good night. Kiss the kids, kiss the wifey. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right, man. It's been a pleasure. A lot of love. I'll talk to you later, man. Bye.
Peace.